Learn from the tool, don't become it. Part 2. The Apprentice, the Child, and the Maze. In the first article in this now 4-part series, I compared AI to earlier technologies that stirred anxiety in schools and society. I named 3 roles AI might play in education: the maker, the shaper, and the thinker, and likened it to a tool, specifically a hammer and a map. Here, I turn to a few cautionary metaphors and images that help clarify where AI tends to falter. The focus is on predictable breakdowns, especially in real classroom settings, where AI doesn't stack up. When my daughter first started walking, she wanted to go everywhere: sidewalks, streets, anywhere her legs could carry her. Living in Brooklyn, that meant watching for traffic. One of the things I taught her was to watch for the stop hand and the walking man at crosswalks. Even now at 5, she still clasps 2 of my fingers in her small hand and keeps a sharp eye out for those signals. If I edge off the curb too soon, she tugs me back. "Papa, it's the stop hand." Symbols carry meaning deeper than what's visible. That's why I like to pair parts of speech with physical objects or compare misleading language to a wizard's befuddling spell. Not all symbols are metaphors, but every metaphor carries symbolic weight. And that's the lens I want to use here. AI anxiety is real, but we don't need to panic. It's a technology with far-reaching consequences. Like the printing press, the radio, or the television, AI isn't going away. But if we want to use it well, supporting student learning, remembering, transferring, and achieving, we need to be clear-eyed about where it falls short and where it presses too far. To that end, I'm offering 6 metaphors in 2 batches. The first 3 reveal what AI lacks and its insufficiencies as a tool. The second 3 reveal its influence, how it reshapes our thinking, often without our noticing. Let's start with the first group: how AI doesn't quite stack up. The careless child. It wasn't that brother and sister were naturally messy. They tried to keep their room straight. They made their beds most of the time, and they swept and picked up once in a while. Stan and Jan Bernstein, the Bernstein Bears in the messy room. Not long ago, I was doing some research for an article I was writing. To make the process quicker, or so I thought, I asked AI to help me find the reference I was looking for and to put it in APA format. It gave a fast response, but when I looked more closely, the authors were wrong and the publication date was off. Not only that, it was the wrong text I was asking for a reference. Here I was treating AI like a responsible adult when it was acting more like one of my children who've claimed to clean their room less than 10 minutes after I sent them to do it. Just like brother and sister from the Bernstein Bears, my own kids can't help but do a slapdash job of keeping things tidy. My wife and I will send them to their rooms to clean things up, and minutes later they return, triumphantly proclaiming a cleaned room. Not everything is as it seems, however. Their floors appear to be clear, but upon closer inspection, when I peek under their beds, I find socks, wrappers, and yesterday's homework stuffed out of sight. When I open the closet, toys come flowing out like the falls of Niagara. AI is like a careless child. It can be quick, and it can make things look good on the surface, but the initial quality can be hit or miss, and what appears to be polished can belie the mess underneath. It's fast, but AI may not always be careful. It can hallucinate. It can get things wrong, very wrong. What to do about it? Just like with careless children, always check the corners. Read carefully with utmost attention what AI is spitting out. If you're asking AI to help you craft a kid's article or text, check for errors. In fact, assume it made some errors. You may think AI is saving you time, but in the end, you still have to put in the work. The Sorcerer's Apprentice. The spirits I have prompted, my commands ignore. Goethe, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Once I was asking AI to help me create some images for a nonfiction text I was creating about farmers and microorganisms. AI images seem so magical. You just tell the machine what to make, and a few seconds later, it pops onto your screen. But this time, when the AI displayed the image to me, it showed a farmer walking in his field with a magnifying glass showing the microbes under the soil to help plants grow. Then, however, something else strange was in the image. A bare foot had popped out of the ground as if it were a plant. This image, which I had intended to show factual information, now looked bizarre and surreal. What had happened? Previously, I'd asked it to render an image of a foot to help me teach the Latin root ped in a morphology lesson I'd been writing earlier. Even with all its magic, AI still makes rookie mistakes. It reminded me of Goethe's poem, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, later made famous by Disney's Fantasia. The apprentice uses the sorcerer's spell to animate a broom that fetches water for a bath. At first it works brilliantly, but soon he loses control. Buckets overflow. He tries to chop the broom down, but it splits in two, creating two bucket-carrying servants. Chaos takes over. The apprentice can't undo what he started. AI can be like this. We can give it directions, and what it gives us is filled with errors, mistakes, and forgotten or ignored words. While this metaphor is similar to the careless child, it is different in that AI is not only capable of making sloppy mistakes, like the careless child, it's also capable of making mistakes based on limited knowledge, memory, and capability. That's the sorcerer's apprentice. Then, too, I want this metaphor to explain how we should be viewing AI. Too often, we may view it as a magician because it does so much with amazing speed. It may seem magical, even sorcerer-like, but AI is not the magician. It's the assistant, the helper. It is the apprentice. And I believe it's important to note that it plays a secondary, subsidiary role, no matter how talented, powerful, or fast it is. The labyrinth. Daedalus, most ingenious and renowned of craftsmen, built his design with confusing signs and bent lights, leading the eye into error through winding, varied paths. Ovid, Metamorphosis. Last winter, I led a cycle on fluency with a team of K-5 teachers in one district. We practiced repeated reading with gradual release, but the new twist on this cycle was that we used AI to help us create texts. We created readers' theater texts aligned to classroom content and seasonal cultural events. In K2, we also made decodable fluency texts to incorporate phonics concepts they were learning during that time. Most of the time, it worked really well. We made some wonderful texts, humorous, well-structured, and effective in helping students read with meaningful expression. At times, though, it felt like running in circles. I'd prompt the AI to create a fluency text with, say, a majority of CVC words, and it would spit out a version with a few CVCs alongside phonics patterns that were far beyond what the kids were learning. When I'd ask for revision, it would fix part of the issue while introducing new ones. Instead of progress, we fell into a loop. Reworded prompts, recursive outputs, no real improvement. Working with AI can feel like being in a maze with no map. You try again. You rephrase. It gives you something new that somehow isn't new at all. You tell it what to avoid, and it does it anyway. The whole process starts to feel like a trap. The labyrinth in Greek mythology was a maze so complex no one could escape it. At the center was the Minotaur, a half man, half bull, the result of a failed offering by King Minos. It's a warning. Sacrifice the wrong thing, your time, thought, and care, and you may find yourself face to face with something monstrous. AI is like that, built by humans and seemingly godlike in power. Don't offer too much of yourself to the maze. Don't lose your way inside it. So what's the answer? On some days, after 5 or 6 prompts and no real progress, I've shut the laptop and reached for a notebook. Sometimes the only path out of the maze is stepping away from it entirely. If you're going in circles, remember, you have your own ball of twine to find your way out. Write the lesson plan yourself. Revise it yourself. Being lost in your own reveries is better than being lost in an algorithmic one. Where the limits lie. No matter what you're doing with AI, whether you're creating an engaging text for kids to read, asking it to refine your email to your principal, or inviting it to think alongside you as you manage classroom time, remember, no matter how powerful AI is or seems, it is not perfect. It is made by humans who are imperfect. It will then, by definition, let you down. It will mess things up. The good news is, you're still the one who can make sense of what remains. AI doesn't need to be perfect to be dangerous, but trusting it too much is.